Okay, we have two big ideas today that are called the law of detachment and the law of syllogism. We'll start with detachment. Given true statements, you can use deductive reasoning to make valid or true conclusions. So if P implies Q, if we have a conditional that we know is true, that if you knew P was true, then you know Q is true, and then you know P is true, then you know Q is true. It's pretty straightforward, okay? Deductive reasoning, sometimes called logical reasoning, is the process of reasoning logically from given statements or facts to a conclusion. So you have to know that the conditional is true, that uh, it's not some false conditional statement, but if we are told that it's true or we just know that that's true, um, if a if a polygon has four sides, then it is a quadrilateral is a true conditional. Okay, so if we say then this polygon has four sides, then we can conclude that it is a quadrilateral. Okay, that's the basic idea of it. So to use the law of detachment, identify the hypothesis of the given true conditional. If the second statement matches the hypothesis, you can make a valid conclusion. Let's do it. Okay, what I've done here is just recopy this law of detachment for your reference. Okay, what can you conclude from the given true statements? If a student gets an A on the final exam, then the student will pass the course. And Felicia got an A on her history final exam. So what we're doing is we're saying this is a true conditional. Let's say we're given that that's true. And does the next statement meet this condition that the student gets an A on a final exam? Yes, it does. Felicia got an A on her history final exam. So what does that mean for us? We can determine that the conclusion is true. So Felicia will pass her history course. Pretty straightforward, right? You just got to make sure that what you're given, you're not confusing it for them giving you saying the conclusion is true. Okay, it's always got to be if we know this is true, then we know this. Because remember, it only flows in one direction. All right, so here's another one. What can you conclude from the given true statements? And notice that they're telling you that they're true. That matters. That's how you know. If a ray divides an angle into two congruent angles, then the ray is an angle bisector. That's the conditional statement that we know is true. Now it says ray RS divides angle ARB so that angle ARS, going from A to the vertex R and up to S, is congruent to from S down to the vertex R and up to B. So because it's split into two smaller congruent angles, then we do meet these conditions where the ray divides the angle into two congruent angles. What can we conclude? The second statement matches the hypothesis, so by the law of detachment, you can make the conclusion that ray RS is an angle bisector, as they said here. So what about this one? What can we conclude from this given statement? If two angles are adjacent, then they share a common vertex. And then we're given the statement that angle 1 and angle 2 share a common vertex. Well, if two angles are adjacent, they share a common vertex, but we were not given, as this statement here, we were not given the hypothesis. The hypothesis here is two angles are adjacent, and that's not what they told us down here. They didn't tell us that the two angles were adjacent. So what does that mean for us? Well, it doesn't tell us that the angles are adjacent, so therefore we cannot use this statement in the law of detachment, and we cannot make a conclusion at all. We can't say anything for sure one way or another. Okay, so essentially, if you look up here back at the top, it says if P implies Q is true, meaning they're giving you a true conditional, and then they're told as a statement that P is true, you can conclude true for Q. But you have to be given the hypothesis as the thing that is then told. And that's what's happening here. Okay, it has to be the hypothesis. Okay, try this got it problem. Now, in that last one, what we were doing, or in the first one, I should say, the law of detachment, what we were doing is coming to an actual conclusion. Here with the law of syllogism, it's a little bit different. And I want you to note the double L here, and I will refer to why I'm referring to that in a second. Okay. Anyway, another law of deductive reasoning is the law of syllogism. The law of syllogism allows you to state a conclusion from two conditional statements when the conclusion of one is the hypothesis of the other. So it's like this. We're given two statements here, right? If you know P, then you know Q. If P, then Q is true. And we're given one where if you know Q, then you know R. So you're going from this spot here and then going to here. That means that if you go to P, you go right to R. It's a little bit of a chutes and ladders thing. I don't know if you know that old game, but where you slide to a thing and then you land on a spot and then it's the start of a slide and it slides you somewhere else. Okay, so here's the example. If it is July, then you are on summer vacation. If you are on summer vacation, then you work at a smoothie shop. Therefore, if it is July, then you work at a smoothie shop. Okay, because you say, if you know this, then you automatically know this, and automatically knowing this automatically means you know that. Okay, so you say, if I'm here, then whoop, then to there, then from there, whoop, to there. When can you use the law of syllogism? When the conclusion of one statement is the hypothesis of the other. And what happens here, and you have to make note of this because it's not obvious until we actually go over it, is this right here. You are only coming up with a new conditional statement. You still don't know anything's a fact. You're just saying another if-then statement. If it is July, then you work at a smoothie shop. They're not making a statement that you know a certain thing is true, like you know that it's July, or you know you're on summer vacation. You're saying, if this is true, then this would be true, and if that was true, then that would be true, so therefore if this is true, then that would be true. Okay, so as before, I've copied the notes over. Let's see what we can conclude. When I say conclude, we're actually just coming up with a new conditional statement that combines them if possible. Okay. If a figure is a square, then the figure is a rectangle, because all squares are rectangles. If the figure is a rectangle, then the figure has four sides, because the figure is a quadrilateral, right? So is the conclusion of this one, and we could say like this, a figure is a square, then the figure is a rectangle, okay? And if the figure is a rectangle, then the figure has four sides. Yeah, the conclusion of one is the hypothesis of the next one. So we can then put it together with the law of syllogism to say, if a figure is a square, then the figure has four sides. And what we're doing is we're taking this red bit of it, oops, and making that the hypothesis, and then this green bit, and then making that the conclusion. And the middle part drops out because the end of one is the start of the other, and it flows right from the red box to the green box. Okay, and the reason why I said the double L in syllogism earlier is because you can think of the two L's as the two conditional statements side by side. Okay, this one and this one, like double letter L. Okay, let's keep going and see if we can apply this to a couple more. Okay, what can we conclude from the given information? If you do gymnastics, then you are flexible. If you do ballet, then you are flexible. The conclusion of one is not the hypothesis of the other. They share the same conclusion, but they don't have the conclusion of one being the hypothesis of the other. That's not what we need. So the statements have the same conclusion. Neither conclusion is the hypothesis of the other. You cannot use the law of syllogism and make a conclusion, meaning another conditional statement that combines them. Okay, try your hand at this got it problem set. Okay, this is where it becomes cool and more complex and fun. You have the law of syllogism, which will say if you have two conditional statements where the conclusion of one is the hypothesis of the other, you can write a new conditional statement combining them. And the law of detachment says that if you have a conditional statement and you know the hypothesis is true, then you can determine the conclusion is true. So that means that if we had a combined new if-then statement here, and we were told that the hypothesis of that new if-then statement was true, we can conclude that its conclusion is also true. So we're going to combine them and let's see how that works. Okay, what do we got here? Well, what can we conclude? If you live in Accra, then you live in Ghana, because as you can see here in the illustration, Accra is, I believe, the capital of Ghana. Okay, and if you live in Ghana, then you live in Africa. Those are the two conditional statements. Can we combine that into a new conditional statement using the law of syllogism? Well, if you live in Accra, then you live in Ghana. That's the conclusion of this one. And if you live in Ghana, that's the hypothesis of the next one, then you live in Africa. So we can then leap to, if you live in Accra, then you live in Africa. That together is the new combined conditional statement from using the law of syllogism. Now, Isa lives in Accra. We know now that the hypothesis is true. What can we conclude? Okay. Well, we can conclude that Isa lives in Africa. And again, this just explains what I explained. We combine them to become this statement, and then we know that this hypothesis is true, so we can make that conclusion. Yep. Try your hand at this got it problem. Okay, here's your lesson check set. You should be doing these because they're kind of fun and it's good to know whether you know how to do them or not. So give them a shot and see if they compare with the correct answers. Good luck.